So you've set up your account, you've got some money together, and you're ready to buy. One of the biggest barriers that our listeners tell us exists is that they just don't know what to then buy. They say it's too hard to find a company amongst all the sea of charts and information out there. Finding inspiration can be one of the hardest parts of investing. We know firsthand that it can be tricky, but it shouldn't stop you trying. There are a number of different ways investors find trading ideas. In this video, we're going to talk through 3 of the most common ways and then ask some experts their process that led to their best trade.
Nice, Ren. So number 1, first method is let the numbers do the talking. So we're talking about charts, ratios, and financial numbers. They're often the most daunting part of investing, and yet hidden in their complexity are often some of the best trading ideas out there. For those who are questioning why we're including charts as numbers, charts are just a visual way of representing numbers. If charts aren't your cup of tea, like Ren, just look at a table with the underlying numbers. So 5 things to look for. You're going to look for your PE ratio, price to net tangible assets, revenue growth, 1, 3, and 5 years, trading volume, and dividend yield. But don't panic. We know you may have never heard of any of those terms before, so we're going to go through them in another episode called Pardon the Jargon. But for now, know that numbers can be your friend when it comes to finding a company to buy.
So an example of someone who just used pure numbers to make trades was Warren Buffett. Now, I'm sure a lot of people have heard of him, arguably the greatest investor of all time. And when he started, he literally had a book of stocks and companies called the Moody's Manual, and he would literally just flick through it and read their ratios, their numbers, their revenue growth, how many assets they had, and found cheap companies. Didn't go out and meet CEOs, didn't speak to people in the field, just read his book and found companies. So if that works for you, that's one way that you can find inspiration.
Full credit if that works.
Yeah, it doesn't work.
All right, Ren, so method number 2.
So if you're not Warren Buffett and you can't just open a book and start looking at numbers, another good method that you could follow is following the leader. In trading, there is no added points for originality. If you hear a good idea from someone else, run with it. Some of the best trades from some of the best traders are people following smart people who have made good decisions. All that matters is how much money you make at the end of the day. It doesn't matter how you get there. So follow expert traders, follow people on Twitter. Look at Warren Buffett, Ray Dalio, Bill Ackman for great traders. On Twitter, there's guys like Mark Minervini, Stan Weinstein, Jack Schwager. There's heaps more out there. Listen to them. If they have good ideas and you think that trade will work, follow them.
Nice, Ren. So let's move on to method number 3, and that's probably most applicable to all beginners out there, and that's to just have a look around your environment. Successful businesses are all around us. The clothes we wear, the food we eat, the things we watch online, Netflix, Nike. Remember, most of these companies are all successful because we, everyday people, frequent their businesses. That gives us a unique insight into which businesses will succeed. We just rarely really tap into their knowledge. So we recommend speaking to your family, friends, co-workers. Ask what's selling more than what is expected at their work. Ask what brands or companies or events they're really loving and enjoying at the moment. Where are they looking to go for their next holiday? It all may add up to an edge that you have over the market. If you know your business is selling out of a certain product every week, you don't need to wait for their quarterly sales number to be announced to the market to know they're going to have a good quarter. Invest in them before the rest of the market finds out what you already know. So here are some questions to ask. What's the number 1 selling item at your work? What product or service is doing really well or poorly at the moment? These sorts of questions can give you an edge and an insight. For example, Ren, you want to talk about Peter Lynch?
Yeah, so Peter Lynch wrote a book, What Works on Wall Street. Is that right?
Yeah.
What Works on Wall Street?
Yeah, we got it right here.
Yeah.
One Up on Wall
Street?
Street?
One Up on Wall Street. I knew it was something like that. One of his pieces of advice was simply look around you, look at what's selling, similar to what you were just saying. But Peter Lynch is one of the most successful mutual fund managers of all time. So if you don't believe Bryce, you should. But if you don't, you can believe Peter Lynch, who thinks that the best investing ideas are just waiting to be discovered in your everyday life.
Yeah. It's all about exactly investing in what you know, and that's what we're trying to get at here is you know brands and companies that exist in your everyday life. You probably know the company better than you think you do. So use that as a potential starting point to finding some inspiration.
Yeah, we're both using Apple computers.
Yeah.
You know, don't know where you got your clothes, but you know, we wear these companies that then report on their results. If you know all of our mates are buying something and we know that, then that gives us an edge on the investors that are waiting for the quarterly report.
Absolutely. All right, Ren, so that's 3 methods. Let's talk about what we can do with the experts.
Yeah, so we went out to 3 experts and we asked them where their best trade, the idea for their best trade came from. So we're going to cut to them, and then we went and just asked some everyday people who are investors where they get their ideas from. So enjoy.
What was the inspiration behind my best investment? Reminiscences of a Stock Operator is one of my favorite investment books of all time. And in it, Jesse Livermore says, the people who know what a stock is worth will always buy it when it's selling at a bargain price. So, you know, in trying to be a value investor, one of the most valuable things that I've done is look at insider buying, and not just insider buying, but predictive insider buying. So when you have very, very successful CEO, CFO, executives that have a track record of doing well in running a business and also doing well in their own purchases of the stock and the business that they're running, that can be a terrific sign of you're onto the right thing when you're looking for a value investment. And so that's actually one of the major things I use when I'm looking at investments is if it's really cheap, the insiders will be buying. But most especially, it's extremely powerful when you find somebody who is a very good track record of buying at the right time and buying in sufficient size. And so to me, that has been the single most important factor to my best investments.
Louise Bedford here, author of many books on the share market. I know that you want to win at the Australia's Next Top Trader competition put on by Equity Mates. The first thing that you need to do is work to a written trading plan that covers your entry, exit and position sizing. They are the 3 tenets to every successful trader. If you'd like my personal trading plan template, you can download it from tradinggame.com.au. tradinggame.com.au, and that will give you a format to be able to create your own trading plan. Now, what was the inspiration behind my best investment decision? I can tell you my best decision was to invest in myself. I remember hearing from a seminar, if you want to live in an uncommon way, you have to make uncommon decisions. So you can set yourself aside right now from the masses. Make the decisions that are hard. Focus on your own education. Focus on earning your money in a different way. And I know that's going to make a huge difference as you go along. I started trading when I was 20, and I can tell you when I left my job when I was about 26, I was not living the way the majority of people live. So you deserve the best. You work hard, and I would love to see you at the top.
Hey Steak community, I'm Esteban. I'm an intern at Steak. I interned for about 3 months in Sydney while I was doing my study abroad from Babson College. And now I am doing some work remotely from the very, very cold Boston. I just wanted to talk to you guys a little bit about how I got inspiration to buy my first stock. I grew up in a household where both my mom and my dad have worked in the finance industry since 1989 approximately. And I always looked up to them, always wanted to do something like they did. I've always loved numbers. And when I graduated high school, I got lucky to get a gift of some money. Decided to put it into the stock market and learn a little bit more about investing and getting myself into that world. So, of course, I bought Apple and Facebook, but mostly talking to my parents about what I should buy, how I should look at stocks, when I should buy and sell. I was able to start getting into the market and start trading.
My name is Adrian and I'm a first year university student at UNSW studying commerce law. Trade was Tesla, and I actually day traded Tesla. I just kind of wanted to get into it. It was my first trade, so I was kind of pumped up. I think I held it for a couple hours and sold it, made probably 0.5% or so, and yeah, just for learning experience.
So you're behind the trading screen right now, Tian. So what was your inspiration to place your first trade?
Well, coming out of school, I always thought I might as well get involved in the wider world, and Warren Buffett's book, The Snowball, gave me a lot of inspiration as to how someone can start off small and really make it in the world.
Well, what made you read it?
Well, I just heard a lot of things about Warren Buffett. I never knew who he was, but the internet didn't really give me many answers besides his stock predictions. So I thought I'd get the real deal.
Yeah. And what about your dad's a portfolio manager, right? You want to explain
Yes,
that? Yeah.
So my dad's a portfolio manager. I think he enjoys what he does, and I think that involvement in the wider world is an awesome thing to have in your day-to-day
Awesome.
work.
So what was your first trade, remember?
First trade, I bought Tesla.
Oh, wow. And how did it go?
It went well. Not great. Like, Tesla is quite volatile. But then my second trade, which was actually on the ASX, boo, went really well, and that was the well-known Afterpay.
Okay, nice.
I paid about $4.
Wow.
And it's doing well.
Now you can buy yourself a new t-shirt.
Soon.
I'll give you a steak one. Cheers. Thanks, mate.
Awesome, thanks.
So hopefully this episode has given all competitors and all other interested investors some insight into how you can go about gathering ideas for trading. There are plenty of other different methods that we haven't touched on, but don't think that the list we gave is comprehensive by any stretch. Ideally, for long-term investors, a combination of the three works best. For this 6-week competition, we like looking at certain numbers like volume and pricing, which we'll look at later, and pricing support levels, because timing is just as important as being right in such a short competition. So we'll have more on this in future episodes. But for now, go out, find some inspiration, look around your environment, and I'm sure something will pop up.